Welcome back, English learners. Today, we will take a deep dive into common CELPIP errors. To kick things off, can you outline the different CELPIP test types and what skills they assess?
Absolutely. CELPIP offers three main tests: General, General LS, and Academic. The General and Academic versions evaluate listening, reading, writing, and speaking, while General LS focuses solely on listening and speaking. Each component targets real-world English proficiency, aiming to mirror everyday situations.
That's helpful context. How does the structure of these tests influence the types of errors test takers commonly make?
The broad skill set required means errors can arise from grammar, punctuation, word choice, and speaking conventions. For instance, writing errors often stem from difficulties with complex sentence formation, while speaking mistakes may relate to pronunciation or insufficient supporting detail.
Let's tackle grammar first, starting with word forms. Why do candidates struggle with choosing the correct forms, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs?
A key issue is that English words often morph with different suffixes, altering their function. For example, beauty, noun, versus beautiful, adjective. People may default to the form they're most familiar with, leading to mistakes like a comfort chair instead of comfortable chair.
Is there a systematic way for test takers to master these forms, especially under exam pressure?
Indeed, by learning common suffix patterns like ness for nouns, lie for adverbs, and full for adjectives, candidates can predict correct forms. Practice with real test sentences helps reinforce the connection between context and word function, reducing these errors.
Let's transition to sentence-level errors. Both run-on sentences and fragments can seriously obscure meaning. What causes these issues in CELPIP writing?
Run-ons happen when two independent clauses are joined incorrectly, either fused together or spliced with just a comma. Fragments, on the other hand, lack a subject, verb, or complete thought. Test takers may try to imitate complex English, but forget the basics of sentence construction.
Can you provide a concrete example of a run-on and a fragment and how to fix them?
Certainly. Run-on. I finished the test, I went home. Correction. I finished the test and I went home. Fragment. Because it was raining. Correction. I stayed inside because it was raining. Recognizing clause boundaries is the key.
Moving forward, parallelism is a subtle but critical area. Why is maintaining grammatical balance so important in test responses?
Parallelism improves clarity and rhythm, especially in lists or paired ideas. For example, she likes hiking, swimming, and to bike is jarring because the last item breaks the pattern. CELPIP raters look for this kind of consistency as a marker of advanced English.
Are there any tricks or analogies you recommend for mastering parallel structure?
Think of parallelism as a musical motif. One note is off, the melody falters. When coordinating parts with and, or but, ensure each element matches in form, such as walking, running, and cycling.
Now, let's address modifier soften, a source of ambiguity. What are misplaced and dangling modifiers, and how do they impact clarity in CELPIP responses?
A misplaced modifier is separated from the word it describes, causing confusion. She almost drove her kids to school every day can imply she rarely drove. A dangling modifier lacks a clear subject. Walking down the hallway, the keys were found. Who was walking? Clarity drops dramatically with these errors.
How can test takers systematically check for and correct these issues?
After drafting, identify all modifying phrases and ensure they are next to what they describe. If the subject isn't stated, rewrite to clarify. Reading sentences aloud also helps catch awkward constructions.
Pronoun antecedent agreement and noun countability often trip up candidates, especially those whose first language differs in these areas. Why do these errors persist?
Many languages don't require pronouns to match in number, gender, or case. English does, so errors like, every student must bring their pencil up here, instead of his or her, Countability is tricky. Two informations or advices are incorrect, as these nouns are uncountable in English.
Can you offer strategies or mental checklists to help avoid these errors under exam pressure?
Absolutely. For pronouns, identify the antecedent and verify number and gender. For count nouns, memorize common uncountables and use expressions like a piece of advice. Consistent practice with CELPIP-style questions helps internalize these patterns.
Let's shift to punctuation, another area loaded with potential mistakes. What are the most frequent comma and apostrophe errors you see in CELPIP submissions?
Comma errors typically involve splices, missing commas after introductory phrases, or unnecessary commas in compound predicates. Apostrophes are misused when forming plurals, apples instead of apples, or with possessive pronouns, yours instead of yours. Formatting errors, like skipping paragraphs or inconsistent indentation, can also lower scores.
How do raters perceive these mistakes, and what quick fixes exist?
Raters may see these as signs of limited proficiency. Always proofread, focusing on one punctuation mark at a time. For apostrophes, remember, possession and contractions only. For commas, review rules for lists, clauses, and introductory elements.
Word choice errors can be both subtle and damaging. What are the main traps related to prepositions, homonyms, redundancy, and register in CELPIP?
Prepositions of time on Monday at 5 p.m. are often mixed up. Homonyms like there, slip through spell check. Redundancies, such as free gift or advance warning, clutter writing. Register is about matching formality to context. Slang or texting abbreviations are penalized in formal responses.
Are there data or studies supporting how these errors affect scores?
Indeed. Paragon Testing's internal review found that word choice errors correlate with a full band reduction in writing or speaking if persistent. Regular exposure to authentic materials and reviewing error lists can drastically lower error rates.
Finally, let's explore the speaking component, where pronunciation, supporting detail, and organization all matter. What are the most damaging speaking errors on CELPIP?
Vowel substitution can change meaning completely. Sheet, pronounced as shit, is a classic error. Pausing and intonation must match English patterns, otherwise statements sound like questions. Responses lacking detail or logical structure are also penalized heavily, as raters look for relevance, elaboration, and coherence.
How can candidates build these skills efficiently?
Record yourself answering practice prompts. Focus on clear stress, appropriate pauses, and complete answers. Use frameworks, state your opinion, give reasons, and provide examples. Listening to native speakers and mimicking their delivery is invaluable.